Alrighty, folks. Well, welcome back to another episode of Fighting Words. Just two dads talking about the UFC, and I'm joined by Tyrell Payton. What's going on, my man? We're back.
We're back,
It's,
man.
it's like we never left.
I
The
know.
gang's back together. Sometimes you just got
Yeah.
to take a week off. Gotta reset.
Especially when the UFC is a little slower. After that big card we had at 300, just coming back to talk about those little small fight night cards, just not worth our time. It's just not really worth our time, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong. I'm excited for when those fighters come up, but if there's anything to write home about, it was not this weekend's fights. So I'm glad to be back though, and at least chatting with you about the UFC stuff. Today we're going to be talking about who's going to be champ at the end of 2024. It's only beginning. It's not even past for all our business people. Q1 in 2024, just barely past Q1 in 2024. So we got a long roadmap ahead of us. I'm sure there's going to be twists and turns. I'm sure most of us are going to be wrong, but guess what? We're going to still do it anyways. And
Not me.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Most of us isn't you, since you make up 50% of this. So at least we'll have it on record when you're wrong, though. That's going to be the great thing, is when we have it on record when you're wrong.
We'll see.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever, man. I'm just here for a good time. But yeah, so the breakdown, how we're going to do this is we're going to start with the heavyweights and go all the way down to the flyweights for the men's division. And then we'll quickly go through the women's. Give our thoughts, give our opinions. Don't really anticipate us to go all the way in depth. We're not fighters. We're not even coaches. We just like watching the UFC. So if you came for a more expert takes, get out of here and go somewhere else. But if you came for, I guess, I don't think we can call ourselves casuals. We're somewhere else. Yeah, good time. Yeah, good time.
A good time. You're for a good time.
And here's the other thing. If you're here for a good time, you might as well like and subscribe. So that's all I got to say before we get into it. Right. So UFC men's heavyweight division. Currently, the champ is Jon Jones, followed up by the interim champ of Tom Aspinall. I'm curious, Tyrell, because you probably know my answer for this, but I am curious as to what your answer is for the heavyweight champ at the end of 2024.
Yeah, Jon Jones, man. It's gonna be Jon Jones. It's gonna be Jon Jones by either lack of activity, he just fights Stipe and that's it, or we do get to see him twice this year, which I doubt, and he beats Tom too. But I have a hard time thinking that the latter happens. I doubt we see him and Tom at the end of the year. I think Jon fights Stipe if he fights him at all this year. And I'm of the mindset now, I don't think they're going to strip Jon Jones. I think they're going to just let him ride it as long as he needs to. And but I will say this, and this is my hot take, coming in hot already. I'm not sure your boy wins his next fight. I don't know if Tom Aspinall wins his next fight. I'm putting it out there. I don't know if he wins it. It hasn't been booked who he's fighting. I don't know if he wins his next fight. I'm nervous for him because I think he's an excited young fighter, but he's in a weird spot right now. And I wonder where his psyche is, knowing that he has a fake strap and they want to keep defending and using it, knowing that the guy he really wants to fight doesn't want to fight him. I'm not saying he has a lack of focus, but it's a weird spot to be in, to keep defending something that you feel like is not even the real thing. And the guy you want to fight is like, nah, I'm fighting this old man. So I'm going to go Jon Jones to be safe here, man. I just think that he, from lack of activity and activity, he'll keep the belt by the end of the year.
See, that is kind of like the common denominator for me. I don't agree with you in terms of, my hope is that Tom Aspinall will become champion at the end of the year. My hope is they realize the UFC is wasting a talent, and I think they are, and I think you and I both agree on that they're literally putting a guy on ice because why? Because we're trying to respect Jon Jones. I get it. Jon Jones is the GOAT. Can't disrespect him too much. Yeah. I mean, he's done amazing things for the sport. Outside of the sport, nah. But if he can get away with stuff that won't get him stripped, then okay, there's really nothing. I also am thinking that Jon Jones is going to hold it, but for the only reason that they wouldn't dare strip him before he fights Stipe. If he beats Stipe, there's a chance that there's no belt at the end of 2024. And I think that if Jon Jones and Stipe do fight, it will be at the end of 2024. So we either see Jon hold on to it, or the UFC gets tired of him and says, you know what, we're just going to strip you and we're done. And then, Jon, you can have your money fight with Stipe and that's it. But I don't think that they're going to go that route. I think John is going to hold on to it because if they would have stripped him, they would have already done it by now. Injuries are like we've seen the path forward with Yuri and with Jamal. Like they have set the precedent for new champions, but John is still part of the old regime, in my opinion. And so, with that being the case, I just don't see how John loses it just by bureaucracy's sake. It's not fair. I think Tom should be the next runner up. I think, in terms of meritocracy's sake, he should be the guy that has already fought for the champion and actually got the belt. From that interim champion fight, should have been just the championship belt. Like, I understand it was short. I understand it was what it was, and we can't really change that now. But I know it's a tough fight for Tom, whoever he fights next. I agree. But, I mean, all I got to say is he fought Sergey Pavlovich on 10 days notice and put the guy's absolute lights out. So I'll agree to disagree there. I really hope that Tommy ends up getting the belt at some point, but it's going to be tough for him no matter what, and especially the situation the UFC's put him in. I'm just disappointed because I do like John Jones. You and I both can agree that he's the GOAT, but he's a very tough guy to root for sometimes. And I think him sitting up at the top makes it difficult for him to root for him, but it is what it is. So with that, with kind of a heavy heart, we'll move to the light heavyweight division, currently reigned by none other than Poatan Alex Pereira. He is the current champ, the one that has decided he wants to put the lights out on everybody in the division. And I wish people would stop realizing they can't just strike with him and try to take him down. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this one, and I look at the list of light heavyweight, and I do think there is one that will probably take the crown from him. And I do think that Alex is fighting maybe a bit on borrowed time, and that is Magomed Ankalaev. I don't like saying this, but if I'm trying to be right as opposed to be picking with my heart, which I will have a pick later that's in my heart, but it is what it is. I do think that Magomed Ankalaev is going to be the champion by the end of 2024. Whether he fights him in the near future or he fights him near the end of 2024, I think we see that fight, get lined up. I wish I could say it was Yuri, but I don't think Yuri has. He's got to win his next fight in order to get there, and I don't think Jamal's going to get back into that because he's got a very, very, very tough fight against Khalil Roundtree, which he's taking kind of on a quick turnaround after getting knocked out.
Which I saw something today that said that I think the fights he wanted to get on that Conor McGregor card. So I think he was supposed to fight a week or two before it, and they pushed it back a little farther to get on that card as like a co-main event or something. But tough fight for him, man. He's not next up. He's not next.
Yeah, and I go down the list.
Like that.
Yeah, I think if Khalil gets beat, I mean, you should say if Khalil beats Jamal, I mean, let's talk about it. I think that's an amazing fight. I don't know. I just don't know where that lines up timeline wise, but I think I'm putting my chips in a safe basket. I know he's kind of the redheaded stepchild of the division in terms of luck coming his way, but I do think Ankalaev does get it done in terms of being a champ. And I hate saying that. I don't like his style. I don't think he's that amazing of a fighter in terms of like, wow, like he knows how to draw a crowd. I'd much prefer Alex to be champ, but that's what I'm going with. Who do you got?
I got Poatan, man. I think that this is not the same guy who just got to the UFC with lack of skills. I think that his takedown defense is a lot better than we probably even realize, and a big part of that is because we don't get to see guys try to take him down. I know when he fought Jan Blachowicz, he tried to take him down, and he did, and he was able to get back off the mat. But I think that his size and the range he's able to create is going to present problems in his kickboxing ability. I don't think Ankalaev, who struggled with Jan Blachowicz, is going to then beat this guy. I think everybody is in trouble. I think he's that strong and powerful, that crafty of a striker, and I think that he's with Glover Teixeira, man. I'm sure his takedown defense is getting greater and greater by the day, and he seems like a guy who just stays in the gym working, and he wants to be active. I don't think anyone takes that belt off of him, man. I think if anything, he just decides to put it down and move up to heavyweight if he feels like it at next year. But I think he leaves the end of this year with this belt. I think Yuri may get a rematch. I think it's a bigger fight before giving Ankalaev a fight. I think Ankalaev and Jan may have to run it back. They're 2-4. I'm looking at the list right now,
Yeah.
folks, and that's why I'm looking away. But make them run it back because Ankalaev is just not really impressive to me. So I like to see him run it back with Jan and then let Yuri get his rematch. Let's get it. It
Yeah.
was a kind of a quick stoppage. I like to see him run it back. But
Yeah.
I think Alex is going to fight at heavyweight. So he's
Yeah. I
not going to
mean,
be defending his belt next.
he's on the trajectory. I mean, I have picked
The big
against
man.
Poatan so many times, and the one time I now pick for him, he wins. It's just like, I don't know. I can't really say that I disagree with any part of what you said because I think that Alex is like if he has his takedown
He's
defense,
legit.
like eesh, that's tough. It's just
He's
tough.
legit. He's legit, man. There's no more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's hard to like doubt someone who comes in the sport has what less than 10 fights and has 2 championships in 2 different divisions.
Yeah,
It's like at some point, and it's not just because he's getting a lucky strike and knocking them out. No, he's controlling the cage too. Like his presence is a lot, and
yeah,
yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not going to doubt him anymore until he shows me to doubt him. I don't know if any of these guys. He's so much bigger than everybody he fights. Even
yeah,
at light heavyweight, I feel like at fight day he's going to weigh like 240.
yeah.
Like he's going to be
Just
bigger than
massive.
anybody that goes in there with him, and he hits like a truck. So
Yeah, he's got
good
the
luck.
record, right? He's got the record at the UFC PI, right? So
Yeah, he's a truck, man.
yeah, he's something else. So yeah, I mean, if Magomed has any hope, he's got to take him down, in my opinion, or else
Yeah,
if he can't do that, then night night, brother.
yeah. Something I want to mention, and I'm sure UFC fans out there, you may have saw this today. I don't know if you did yet, Ian. I just want to say prayers for Francis Ngannou and his family. I don't know if you saw
Oh
that
no, I haven't seen
he
that.
lost. He lost his 15-month-old son today, or yesterday, and it was gut wrenching, man, to read it. And I feel so bad for him and his family. So prayers to you, man, and your family. I can't imagine
No,
what
I didn't
that's
see that.
like, and I don't know the details of to what happened, but because we're talking about fighting, and this is a show about UFC, and he's one of the best we've ever seen at heavyweight. I don't want to breeze past the fact that he's going through something so devastating, and I can't even begin to imagine what he's going through right now. So prayers to him and his family. And tough,
Yeah.
man, tough. Not to change the
No.
energy in his pie, but bro, I got to mention that if we want to talk like
Yeah.
about this sport. What a devastating loss for somebody in their family.
Well,
It's rough,
for all
man.
the listeners and all the viewers, I have a 16-month-old son. So in terms of things that hit home, like
Yeah,
that's gut wrenching. But so yeah, prayers and
yeah.
thoughts out to him, man. That's Francis. You were one of the goats of the heavyweight. Can't take away from you from that. And can't imagine the amount of loss of. That's awful. That's awful, awful, awful. I hate that.
It is, man. It is.
Well, it almost feels weird to move on to the next division, but
I know.
sometimes we got to roll.
Yeah, we do.
But
Yeah,
I think this is my hottest take of the night for the champion. So 2024 champion currently is Dricus Du Plessis, and I think you and I can all agree that the king is going to take his belt back,
that's right.
and that king is
Look,
Bobby Knuckles.
oh my gosh, come on, bro. You mean the guy
Well,
that my
let's
guy
give me no
slept
no no no
slept
no 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 no
he
no.
slept
Give me
multiple
the floor. Give me the
times?
floor. Give me the floor.
Have the floor. Have the floor. Jeez.
His last fight against Paulo Costa. All right, we all know that Paulo Costa was off, and I will accept and I will acknowledge that. But Bobby was like, I got my confidence back. Like I got what I needed to get out of that fight. I entered the ring. I felt his power, and I didn't shy away from it. And only that, he took him to the cleaners. Yeah, I'll yawn all you want, but here's the thing. I
It's a bump.
think, and here's the thing. This is predicated off of one win that he must get. If he does not get it, this does not work for me. But I do think he will. And I think if he beats Khamzat Chimaev, give him the title shot. And I don't think whoever's sitting there is going to be ready for maybe a changed, enhanced Bobby that's going to approach the fight differently. Because if you watch the fight that he fought against DDP, and when he got knocked out, and I agree, he got absolutely dunked on. He's not fought the same way with Paulo Costa. He fought a much more technical, a much more structured, a much more confident fight. Don't get me wrong, Costa is not the same striker as DDP. Or is he? It is very difficult to pick against two guys he's lost to. But I mentioned it earlier. I am picking with my heart, and I'm going with Bobby Knuckles. I believe he's got the run in him left.
When does that ever work for you?
Never.
Picking
Well,
with your
no,
heart.
no, no, no,
Okay,
no. Poirier and BSD, and I will stand by that one. That one,
there you go. I'll give you that one.
everything within me did not want to pick for Dustin, but you know what? The heart's there.
It wasn't. It wasn't for a strap or anything, though. I mean, just an exhibition fight. You know, nothing crazy.
Shut
But
up.
in the big ones, when you pick with your heart, what happens? It doesn't go your way,
Just
man. Just go with your head on this one.
nope.
He's
The,
not that
the
good, man.
the heart is Bobby Knuckles, and I will not be. MMA community, you know you stand with me. I know you guys love the Bobby Knuckles. Yeah, yeah.
It's
We can
ridiculous.
just take the weebs. You can pick your Zero Adesanya. I know that that's what you're rolling with. So why don't you just
He's.
continue?
Are you doubting that he's
Yeah,
the middleweight goat?
I'm the middleweight goat. Do not slander Anderson Silva's name.
I love Anderson, but we talked about this on our first debate. My man Anderson was fighting Chris Leben,
Listen, we don't have to
right?
talk. We don't have to bring up about the time that I trashed you in that debate, and
You
I don't want
didn't.
to bring up the
People,
receipts.
people in the comments were on your, you know what? So you better stop lying. They were on you. I have screenshots. They were on you, crazy. So you better stop
You
lying.
sent me those screenshots. Thank
That's
you. I
right.
appreciate
You
it.
need to see that you're wrong.
I will concede my time here. Oh, as to why I made the case for
Thank you,
Bobby Knuckles.
thank you.
I would like, instead of a rebuttal to me, I would like to hear who you're picking.
Yeah, it's Raw Adesanya. I mean,
Yeah.
he's going to beat DDP, and then who's going to beat him? Also, I'm going to comment on what you just said and say this: Bobby's not going to beat Khamzat. Bobby was getting taken down by DDP. You think Khamzat, who took down Kamaru Usman, is not going to take down Bobby Knuckles? Come on, bro. He's going to pummel him. He's probably going to submit him, if we're being honest. Like, my camera went out of focus. He's going to submit him, and you know it. He's going to beat him, bro. It's just how it goes, man. I know I want Robert to beat him too because I don't like Khamzat either. But the reality is, and I'm going all brain, no heart on this because Bobby's not my guy anyway.
Okay.
Bobby is he's a faux champion. He was a faux champion, bro. He was a champion at a time where they needed somebody to hold the belt. He held it. First time he fought somebody that actually could fight, what happened? Lost it. Lost it. And then, just gets beat up by the guy who's now champion, too. If he would fight Sean Strickland right now, Sean Strickland would beat him. So you mentioning Paulo Costa means nothing to me. Because Paulo Costa is like the 7th or 8th best guy in the division. He should beat that guy. Paulo is a fun fight. But how many fights does he win, though? Like, he gets in fights and he bangs. That's a perfect fight for Robbie his confidence back. But the difference is when he fights one of those elite guys, it ain't gonna go his way. But anyway,
See, I just feel like, I just feel like you're going after my pick when you got. Why don't you back up what Izzy's got to do? Because Izzy did lose the belt last time we were here, right? Didn't he?
He had off night. But even with that being said, it was very clear the off night. Like, I mean, he didn't get finished. You know what I'm saying? He got cracked
but
one
it's
time.
almost more embarrassing. I
don't
mean,
think
he
so.
literally got
I don't
belt
think so.
by Sean Strickland, a guy who's
Right.
clearly not as
But
good of a striker as him.
But
Is
I
he
bet you if they
washed?
ran it back. No, but I bet you if they ran it back, he would destroy him. I think he would beat him bad. Like, it clearly was like, and if you watch the interviews after that fight, it was very clear that him and Eugene were on different pages about how to handle that fight.
It just sounds like you're making a lot of excuses for a guy who just called the MMA the middleweight GOAT, and guess who didn't get a lot of excuses was Anderson. So I don't know,
my guy Anderson lost multiple times, actually.
So did Izzy.
He lost a lot, actually.
Yeah, especially at the end. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to defend that.
Bad.
Yeah.
You lost to Uriah Hall?
Yeah, but
that's my guy.
But also, isn't Izzy like 2-2 in his last 4 fights?
Who's he fighting, though?
Yeah, well, exactly. If you're going to be the GOAT, you got to win a little bit more.
Oh, interesting that you say that, but, my GOAT beat your guy who you just said was going to have the belt at the end of the year twice.
Listen, will you let me have anything in this world? I feel like every time you just won't even let me have it.
I am your friend, and I'm here to correct you when you're wrong. And you're wrong. So I'm
I didn't ask you to do that.
World. I don't want you to live in this fantasy world thinking Robert Whitaker's good. He's not good, man. Okay,
put some respect on his name.
There it is. He'll be in the UFC Hall of Fame, but so is Jens Pulver. Like, I don't care.
Hey man, let's get the Jens. Jens, if you're watching this, just know that I would never say that about you. Just know that I would never say that about you. And I feel like that's my cue to move on to the welterweight division. because I am not gonna listen to any more Bobby Knuckles slander on this podcast. I knew as soon as I said it there was gonna be more slander coming from you.
Mistake. Yeah.
Welterweight champ currently is Leon Edwards, Leon Rocky Edwards.
Yep.
But we have a few contenders waiting in the wings. We're just waiting to hear the Bilal Muhammad fight get announced. Obviously, Shavkat Rakhmonov is sitting on the outside as well. Jack Della Maddalena obviously is there. And then you have, of course, the number one man who, while has lost to Leon twice, is still a force to be reckoned with, Kamaru Usman. I look at this list and I look down and I'm like, okay, I see that Yin's number 7, obviously a big win over Colby Covington, puts him into the title contention. Do I think he'd win
Mm-hmm.
against Leon? No. I look at Bilal. I look at their most recent matchup. I do feel like Bilal has changed a lot since Leon and him fought the first time. But I do think Bilal also favors his striking a bit more than he does his wrestling lately. This is my thought process here. That's going to be a very close fight. In fact, I probably, if I had it today and Leon was any remotely unhealthy, I'd probably pick Bilal. But I don't think any other man can stop the other person in this division that I have not talked in depth with, which is Shavkat Rakhmonov. He has it everything. The man put a standing rear naked choke on Jeff Neal in one of the most violent ways. He beat one of the best strikers in the division with a fractured foot. He went in there, got business done. First time he's been submitted. Wonder Boy has. That's the first time. This man, has been bred for becoming a champion. That's all he knows. That's all he wants to be. And in my opinion, he is a terrifying force for anyone at welterweight. And it's not to say I discredit Kamaru. I think that that's a very tough fight for Shavkat. We're talking how the timelines are going to shake out. Shavkat's still going to sit on the shelf, and he's going to get that title shot. And I think either he gets that title shot or he gets that number one contender fight, and then he's right there. And so by the end of 2024, it kind of shakes out where Leon, that'll probably be his second fight if he ends up beating Bilal. If something weird comes out, which we're in the UFC, so anything weird can happen, I could see it be preventing Shavkat from getting his shot by the end of 2024. But how I see it right now, and again, just speculation, I think Shavkat's going to get his chance, and whoever's champ better be praying that they don't get embarrassed. So that is my stance. I've watched this guy since he started in the UFC, and he's been nothing short of amazing. I want to hear what you have to say because I don't feel like I think you and I used to see eye and eye on this, and I don't think we do anymore.
Yeah. I think Leon Edwards will be the champion at the end of the year.
Really?
I do. And a big portion of that is just I don't think he's going to be active enough to fight twice. I think he fights Bilal Muhammad. I think they make Kamaru and Shavkat fight for a number one contender fight. And I don't think either whoever wins that fight gets to fight him by the end of the year. Leon just seems like a guy to me who just doesn't fight a lot. He's not going to fight a lot. So I see Leon holding on to it because I think I do think Bilal will wrestle more, but I also watch Leon do a great job of stopping Kamaru Usman from getting down as much or staying on the ground, which Kamaru's a better wrestler than Bilal to me, and Leon did a great job. He even did a good job with Colby Covington. I think Bilal's a bigger person than Colby Covington, but I think that just going back and rewatching their first fight, Leon's a way better striker than he was when he fought the first time, and a better at taking takedown defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bilal Muhammad will be in trouble, and because he's kind of cringy, I kind of hope he gets KO'd. So I hope that gets taken care of fast so we can get rid of him. I will say this: if Shavkat did fight Leon before the end of the year, my thoughts on who would have the belt would be different. I just don't know if he'll have a chance to fight him because I think Leon's going to fight one time and then rest the whole rest of the year and fight next year. That's just how I feel like he's going to move.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like he's going to be an active champion. But yeah, I'm going to go Leon, man. I think that inactivity is going to lead to him keeping his belt.
At least for one more year. Yeah, I could see that.
Until next year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I could definitely see that playing out.
Not to say, put some respect on Leon's name. Him and Shavkat may be a very good fight. That
Yeah,
may be a
I love
very
it.
good fight. Because I think Leon striking is so good, man. It's so good. And we've seen people can crack Shavkat.
There's no
Jeff Neal
question
beats
he can
me.
get hit. Yeah,
And
that's my biggest
Leon
problem.
hands and feet are filthy. So
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I think it's we don't want to believe in Rocky, but Rocky's skilled, man. He's very skilled. So I would love to see the fight. I for sure
Hmm.
want to see it, and I hope we get to see it before the end of the year. And if we do see it, I'm still going to rob Rocky. I'm going to take the champion until he proves otherwise that he's not as good. To beat my guy, I got to respect him. You know, I think Kamaru beats anybody else in the division beneath him. I don't think anyone could beat Kamaru still to this day. But I feel like if that guy beat Kamaru, I'm gonna roll with him until he shows me otherwise. Man,
Hmm.
he has like that 10% increase in skill because he's champion. Like he's just
Hmm.
fighting at a higher level now. We just need to see him be active.
Exactly. I wish he was. I think that's my biggest knock with Leon as well. Is he's just not active. He's very much the old guard. And that is more of a threat to Shavkat's potential championship than I think anything else really on the list there. But you make a really good point. So we'll see. But one that has talked about fighting and being a double champ is Islam Makhachev, who is current lightweight champion. Um, I mean, he's got a lot of hungry men just sitting right underneath him, from Armin to Charles to Dustin to Justin, and even the new number 8 ranked fellow, the BMF himself, Max Holloway. And yeah, well, you could say, well, he's only, I should say not 8th, he's ninth. You say he's only
Ninth,
ranked
yeah.
ninth, but whatever. He deserves every bit of a title shot if that does come along. I
Go with your
think
brain. Go with your
I
brain.
I'm going with my brain here. And the reason why I'm going with my brain here is because I'd like to be somewhat right throughout this list. It's a crazy sequence of events. This is my path, and I'm not saying my final pick is my final pick. The
Okay.
path to get there can be broken. I don't really care. I think Dustin Poirier becomes champ this year, but he doesn't hold it at the end of 2024. I think there is a man who is his teammate, and I think that is going to go to Armin Saryukian. And whether Armin gets it through Dustin or he gets it from Islam, yes, it's a problem that Islam and him have both fought before, and Islam edged out a decision from him. I think you and I both were not super impressed by Armin's response to the fight for Islam. Um, I think that if there is another fight of the year contender, it could be this fight between Armin and Islam. If that does happen, I think that I think I'm mostly picking against because I really just can't stand Islam Makhachev. If he wins against Armin, then obviously I feel like I got to change my tune. I can't be too much of a hater, but as it stands right now, I can be as much of a hater as I want because he's defeated Bolt twice. I'll never forgive him for that. So yeah, I'm going with Armin. I've rode with Armin since day one. You and I have talked about Armin for a long time on this podcast and off this podcast, and you know how much I like him, and you know how much I think that he can do what he can do. And I think everybody's allowed an off night, and if an off night means you can beat one of the best lightweights in the world, okay, congrats, bro, you did it. So, um, yeah, I'm rolling with Armin, and I don't love the pick in terms of like, yeah, I'm 110% like sold out on it, but I like rematches, and I think it's always tough to beat the guy that you barely beat in a rematch. So, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be champ for lightweight division come the end of 2024?
Yeah, I think at the end of 2024, it's going to be Islam Makhachev.
Yeah,
He's that good, man. It sucks to say it. He is that good, man.
yeah,
I don't know who can beat him. I don't, and I don't want to see Max fight him. I'd rather Max go back to 45 and do his thing. Uh, the guy's really talented, man, and it's not just wrestling. He's
I
scary.
know, I
And
know.
if in my head, this MMA math doesn't always work, but like the way I
That
see it, right? If Justin and Dustin, we both like both of them. If they both lost to the prototype of the Daggy boys, which was Khabib, the hybrid version of them, which is him who can strike too, clearly, I'm scared for them because if he has to wrestle, he can do it. and it could be bad. If he can submit Charles Oliveira the way he did, he can submit them because like it's just. And he'll probably strike with them too. He's probably not going to be scared.
Yeah.
Their only luck is they hit him with something that's outrageous and they finish him, which Dustin, I feel more comfortable saying Dustin could over Justin.
Then are yeah.
But we know Justin Gaethje's done. Like you're not
No,
getting title
he's
shot
not
no
back
time
in
soon,
title
buddy.
contention. No, he
The,
sacrificed that on the
the,
back of that BMF belt.
yeah. Well, I'll say this: I'm going to be rooting for Dustin Poirier. So if this is the pick out of my list, I have to be wrong on. For sure, I wanted to be this one because I want Dustin to win that belt so bad, man. I really do. But if I'm trying to be accurate with my list here, I got to go Islam Makhachev, man. It's kind of Leon. It's like he hasn't shown me anything that make me not believe in him. The last time I
Yeah.
didn't believe in him was when he had that close decision with Volk. Since then, I can't, man. I mean, what he did to Volk this last time, I can't doubt him.
Yeah, it's
Can't
tough.
doubt him. I mean,
It's really tough because what version would we get of the Islam? Would we get the Stone Cold Killer that came out against the second fight against Volk? Which, say what you will, I hate
think we will.
short notice fights. I really do. I hate them because I think that say what you will about Volk's return, like you can't do what you did. Like I'm sorry, I you know me, I'm the biggest Volk fan, but I think he's tarnished a lot of what he's done, and I think he's hurt his career more than helped it. But he still knocked out one of the best guys in the UFC of all time, like up
Filthy.
there. Yeah,
Filthy.
yeah. So I give him credit, but I think it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight if you put Armin and Islam together, which I think they will book that before the end of the year. It's I think
I'm questioning Armin now, bro.
Yeah, I know you are. I mean,
After watching that Trolls fight.
All I'm saying is if you have a off night with one of the best to ever do it and you still come up with a win, that's saying something. I know it wasn't a perfect win by any means, but that's where I'm kind of leaning towards. Like,
before we move on,
yeah,
was it an off night or he had a jump in competition level and he was like, oh, because come on, man, Benil Dariush is not Charles Oliveira, so like the jump in competition, maybe it made him look more. He's on par, right? He's up in that conversation, but he doesn't look as dominant when he's fighting against the upper echelon, right? And that may have been what happened. He may have had an off night. Maybe he just like, oh, this is like crazy. This is a different place.
You even said yourself that Charles is one of the best to ever do it, and I think it's really hard to separate yourself. Win. Yeah, it's hard to separate yourself from that pack and be like, yeah, like we're talking margins and slim margins. That fight was razor thin in terms of the decision. I do think it was right, and I was rooting for Charles. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we'll see. We'll see. I think it's a great fight on paper. If it gets there,
yeah, me too.
Great.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't get there though. Hopefully Dustin wins and we don't have to get there.
Yeah. Then we don't have to worry about Islam being champ. Probably not going to happen, but one can pray, right?
But praying for Dustin Poirier to win a belt is crazy.
Hey man, complete the story arc. Be the Rocky. Be the real life Rocky, man. But if viewers, if you can't tell, I absolutely cannot stand Islam Makhachev. But I just anyways, we'll dwell on it before I become full hater mode. The featherweight division, current king.
Stop it.
Yeah, why don't you go? Current king is Ilia Topuria at the end of 2024. Who is he going to be?
Come on, man. It's me, Max Bless Holloway, bro. Stop playing. He's going to slip that little Spaniard boy, buddy. Bro, stop. He's going to knock him out, bro. Like, he's going to knock him out. It's going to be easy, too. And then your boy Volk going to come crawling, begging for, let me fight me, please.
Hey, just pick the champ. You don't have to disrespect, man. There's too much of that going on tonight.
No, I think Max Holloway, if given the opportunity, will become the champion of the division. And I think Ilia Topuria, he called Volk at the right time. I don't think if he fights the Volkanovski before the Islam Makhachev fights, he even has a chance. I think that those two losses to Islam, that does something to your confidence, right? Like, tremendously. And then coming back early to fight this young, really up-and-coming fighter who has power in his hands after you just got KO'd that quick, I think that played into it.
Yeah.
And I think Volkanovski if he took a lot of time off and defended his belt maybe now, like in June, July coming up against Ilia, I think he beats him.
I do too. He's winning the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, and I think I talk trash about him. I make jokes, but I respect Volk, man. He's great. And I think that Ilia is bit off more than he can chew. He's going to learn very quickly, like, it ain't what you think up here, buddy. You call it that guy in a bad situation, and this guy Max Holloway, he's gonna hurt you. He's gonna hurt you, man. And I think, yeah, I think Max gets it, and I think that who do you booking with? It has to be Volk, and do they
Yeah,
fight before the end of the year? I don't think so because Max already fought once. So I think Max would take the belt, and they would fight maybe in Q1 of next year, Q2.
yeah. I absolutely 110% agree with you. I think Max is champ before the end of the year. I think Volk is a winner of circumstance, and you know me. Not Volk. Ilya is a winner of circumstance. He beat Volk. Max even said in his interview recently with Joe Rogan, he said, Volk is a rugby player. He fights forward. He does not fight on his back foot. He fought on his back foot the entire fight. And he was still winning that fight. But he's like, but then he had his chin up in the air and got hit. And he's like, and that's not, he's like, the guy I fought didn't fight like that. And he said, and I think that there's something to be said. And I think Ilya is a man of perfect circumstances and timing. I mean, how do you catch a guy whose confidence has been shook up? Not only that, but he's wanting to redeem himself. You think he can beat this young guy, and I agree with you. I think he does beat Ilya on a better night for himself. But I do think that we're kind of entering in this blessed era. I think if Max can capitalize on this victory he had for the BMF and he can put Ilya away, which I don't know how Ilya smokes the amount of crack that he does to think that Max is not a boxer and one that can compete with him. I mean,
Crazy.
the way he cut
Crazy.
angles, the way he's able to, the speed is the difference here, in my opinion. And I know MMA math is going to MMA math super hard, and we might be eating crow at the end of this, but you and I both did not ride the high of Max like post UFC 300. You and I were both picked him by a significant margin to win. And that I didn't need any convincing. You clearly did not need any convincing. And
Yeah,
now seeing how he fought against Justin Gaethje, Ilya better be
bro.
terrified, in my opinion.
Like Ilya, I hope you see this clip. Did you
Yeah,
see those eight or nine like spinning kicks that he hit Justin Gaethje with every time? If he's doing that kind of preparation for him to find weaknesses where he can land something like that, he's definitely doing it for you too, little man. I'm sure he's a taller man. He's going to come into that fight and find some opening like that on you, and it's going to make you question yourself a lot.
yeah,
I'm sure Justin Gaethje probably is like, "What is that? Like, what?" The first time I hit him, broke his nose. He's probably like,
yeah.
"What just happened?" It threw him. The rest of the night, he's off. He's like, "I don't know how to." Like, it just threw him off, bro.
Did you
He's
hear
going to
how
train for you
he?
that way too.
Did you hear how Max? Did you hear how he developed his spinning kick?
No.
Yeah, you want to know what it was? He said, "I want to learn how to do this from UFC." He's like, I was watching Henan Barrow throw spinning kicks on the UFC, like
The
the
game.
video game. Yeah, he's like, "I told you, Joe." He's selling this on Joe's podcast. Saying, "I told you, Joe. This is how I learn all my stuff." He's like, "This is how I learned it." He's like, "I want to go learn that. I want to go practice that." He's like, "I learned how to keep my head up and make sure I turn my head before I kick somebody in the balls." And then also he said, when people dip down at all, he says, I know when to throw it. He's like, I've timed it. He's like, and I can throw it from like a foot away. He's like, I know how to do it. And he's like, this is not just something that he's like, I knew I was going to have to bring more to the table against Justin, but I knew that was one of the weapons that you guys were going to see that was going to be different. And I was like, oh,
Telling you,
buddy.
man. Spooky times.
Yeah.
Spooky times are upon us. Like, Ilya's going to wake up and be like, what
Mm-hmm.
happened after the
Yeah.
fight?
And then there's a whole big discussion about who is the GOAT of that division. Like I said, I'm willing to stand by it right now. You know, and I rewatched that podcast when you were talking all that chirping. I stood by Volk, but I'll say this: if Holloway can put it together, like I think he can, we'll have to have a discussion here, feller. That's all I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited for Max. What a way to not correct your career, but what a way to have a resurgence. Not this late, but this soon. Like I feel like
Yeah.
what a young man to have that happen. So I'm pulling for you, Max. Get it done, buddy. But in terms of the last two divisions, we have the bantamweight division currently with the cotton candy hair himself, Sean O'Malley. Listen, I know that in lightweight, the champ has a name, and his name is Charles Oliveira. Well, the champ has a name in bantamweight, and his name is Merab Dvalishvili. And it's
The
not even
machine,
close.
baby. The
Not even
machine.
close. I don't even think
No.
we need to really get into discussion about this, but the skill level is like there's elite, and then there's a whole nother plane. That's where Marab exists right now.
He's gonna make it look so. It's gonna be so bad. Like I have visions. I can just see like clips of him just carrying Sean around the octagon and smiling and just slamming him and beating him up. It's gonna be bad, man. He's just too strong, too durable. I know he's gotten cracked a couple times his last few fights.
Yeah.
I don't care. He's gonna walk through. He's gonna get to Sean, and once he gets him, Sean's gonna be gassed, boy.
Yeah.
He was gassed when he fought Peter Yan, and Peter Yan took him down a couple times in a 3-round fight. Imagine a 5-round fight where this guy is just going to pit bull you the whole fight. Like it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad.
I know that the whole I'm going to take you into deep waters and drown you. That is the definition of Marab, and Sean better be prepared. Like Sean just better be prepared to defend some takedowns because he's about to get absolutely slaughtered, in my opinion. There's not even really a deep breakdown that needs to happen. Can Sean defend a takedown for 25 minutes? If he cannot do that, he is not keeping his belt, and I don't think. My only concern is that Sean's not going to fight him before the end of the year.
Right. Like, and let's say he can defend a takedown. Can you defend Marab's takedowns? Is the question.
And the chain wrestling. Yeah, that's the other thing. Just because you defend one doesn't mean you can defend three. Like
he can't stop him. He can't.
Yeah.
Look what happened to Henry Cejudo. Henry exactly. Like he was a baby in there. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And obviously, like Sean beat his teammate Aljamain, but those two guys are very different fighters, in my opinion. Yes, they're both wrestlers, but two very different fighters.
One guy is supremely confident in his abilities. One guy questions himself in there sometimes. And that's Aljo. Like, I feel like he questions his talent sometimes. Whereas Marab's like, I do this. I'm coming to grab you, and you're going down. And I'm winning this fight. And that's the difference.
Yep, that is the difference. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like it's pretty cut and dry that he's going to be champ at the end of the year. So, last division for the men, current, it's the flyweight division. So Alexander Pantoja is the current champ. I kind of went back and forth as to who I wanted to pick. You and I talked about it even this morning about it. I got a pick for us that might surprise you a little bit. And I don't think it's one that I'm 110% confident, but it's one that I definitely could see. And I think Amir Albazi is going to be champ by the end of 2024. Here's why.
Solid pick.
Yeah, I think that what you brought up earlier was Pantoja's gas tank. I also don't trust it. And I think Amir Albazi has the power to keep up with him, like punch for punch, if not even more so. And I think that Mokaev is just a little too injury prone. I think that Mokaev's next fight is going to probably shoot him up to a title shot, but that doesn't mean Pantoja is going to take another fight this year. It doesn't mean that that's going to happen. If he does, it's going to be against a guy who's closer in the rankings. And how everything shakes out, I think Amir Albazi is going to be able to get a fight that's going to put him into contention because he pulled out for his injury against Brandon Moreno. Like, that sucks, but they could easily run that Brandon Moreno fight back, and I would be perfectly content. They could run the Brandon Royval fight with Amir Albazi and do that for the number one contender. I don't think Mokaev is going to be in a place where he's ready to take that. If he was 2 rankings higher, I would say absolutely he's going to be champ. That's not the case anymore. And with the guys that he's going to be potentially fighting up at the top, I just don't think he gets a fight booked anytime soon that's going to put him anywhere near the top. So I got Amir Albazi. I think he's going to get it done. And I just really don't believe in Pantoja to hold on to the strap. So I'm curious what you think.
What you just said made me think a lot. And I don't think I realized Muhammad Mokaev was 7th. And if he has to take another fight in between before he gets title shot, then his chances of getting the title this year kind of dwindle. So I'm just going to throw a wild card out there, man. I'm just going to go for it, right? This may be the one I'm for sure wrong on. I think our boy Steve gets it done.
Do you think Steve Erceg's going to be champ?
I do.
Wow.
I think Steve
that might be the hottest take of this year. Like, I've had some pretty dumb ones. But I'm not saying it's dumb,
bro. He might knock him out, bro. Like, sometimes I feel like with opportunity comes great things, right? And it's going to be this kid's only opportunity at the crack of the bell. And you think Pantoja's really, really training for this kid? I don't know, but he can strike. I'm just
He's
gonna throw it out there
talented.
because I don't care who wins who's the champion in this division at the end of the year because it's a division I don't watch a whole lot. It's gotten a lot more competitive. I do like your Amir Albazi pick though, so if he wins it, I'm cool with that too. Um, but I'm just gonna give Steve a chance. Say Steve, I got you. What's his last name? You said I didn't want to
Urseg.
mispronounce it. Urseg, Steve Urseg. Listen, bro, get it done, bro. Make me look good. Make me look good. I'm sure I'm the only one picking you out there. Make me look good. Like knock
Ah,
him out.
that would be awesome. No, I mean, I will say this: 2024 is the time. I feel like since 2023, I feel like the world has been shook up in terms of champs. So, I mean, who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
first round
So,
finish.
yeah. My thing is, I don't know if he can see it. I don't know if he can keep it by the end of 2024. If he wins that, I don't know if he keeps it, but it'll at least be a cool one regardless.
You think Brandon Royval will take it from him? I don't think so.
I don't know, man. Don't ask me these questions I don't have the answer to. I don't
If
believe
he
in the
gets the
raw
belt,
dog.
if he gets the belt, he may not fight again the rest of the year, though, right? I
Right.
mean, he's gonna fight in what June? Or they fight in June
Mm-hmm.
or May? May? I
Um,
don't know. It's
it's the
coming up.
next
It's coming
pay
up.
per view. We're
Okay,
bad commentators.
you're right. We are. It's like May 4th. Okay, so that's
Okay.
actually this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
well, we are bad commentators. Yep. Yep. Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, folks.
Roll right on through that and talk about women's bantamweight. We'll move over to the women's division. Current champ is Rocky Pennington. The new champ will be Kayla Harrison, and there's no one that can stop her. And it's just facts, and you can print it. Like
Facts.
it's just not
Big
even.
facts.
It's not even close. So I know
Yep.
your hot take was Misha Tate. Are you sticking by that?
For bantamweight,
Mm-hmm.
nah, not with Kayla Harrison. No
Yeah,
way. Or
that
her
shook
being
some
there,
things
bro.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, when she got there, it changed things, bro. She's just a monster. So no,
Mm-hmm.
Kayla for sure. Kayla for
Yeah.
sure, man.
It's not even a question. She'll be a long term champ, I think.
Yep.
So
Until she decides to give it, unless Amanda comes, then
yeah. And then if that's the case, then I would
and
pick.
I ain't saying that. I saw what happened when she fought Pacheco. Amanda is worlds better than her, so
Yeah.
that'd be a tough night. But it'd be a great fight. Great
Yeah.
fight. I hope it happens.
I don't think it happens before 2024, though. I think Kayla fights one more time. That weight cut is brutal on her. So
Yeah, I'm
I think
sure
she
it
fights
is.
for the belt next. So whatever that looks
She
like, whether
should.
it's like whether they strip Rocky and do it between her and Juliana or something
It'll
else.
be
I don't know.
interim. It'll be
Yeah.
an interim. It'll be interim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But
featherweight.
flyweight, women's flyweight.
Oh, we do featherweight.
Am I missing a division?
Featherweight's yeah. Is it flyweight?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
was gonna say. I was like,
flyweight. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm tripping.
Who do you
Featherweight.
got for the flyweight champ?
Manon. Manon.
Okay, I'm glad we agree. She's a freak.
Manon for sure. She's a freak.
She's
She's too big.
huge.
She said that she plans to go up soon. Like she wants to get this belt defended a couple times apiece. She is going to be whoever they put in front of her for this belt. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Like Valentina, Alexa Grasso, don't matter. It don't
No,
matter. You're getting smoked. You're getting smoked. She's too good, bro. She's too good, man. I
I
like her.
think
I
that
do.
Valentina's getting up there in age too, right? She's what, 36. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like Valentina. I think I like what she's done with the sport. I don't think she gets it done against Alexa for the third time. I just don't like.
Can we agree on something? You know, I like Valentina too, but can we agree, man? She's kind of like DC of the women's sport. Like
I've
she's
never
second
heard that,
best.
but yeah, yeah,
She's
because
second.
Amanda
She's
was
second
always there.
best.
Yeah,
Because Amanda, when it comes down to it, if Amanda was there, she's going to lose, bro. And she went to a
yeah,
different division to become champion to avoid her. You
yeah.
know,
I mean,
DC, like, if Amanda's there, she can't have the belt. If Amanda could cut weight and get to the division, she wouldn't have that belt either. So it's like, yeah, you're kind of like DC of the women, and that's a great place to be. No disrespect to DC, obviously, all time great, bro.
right.
But he was always second fiddle to the great one. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, I don't see Manon losing that, especially with the clinic she put on with to Erin Blanchfield. And I think the
oh
skill
my
gap
goodness,
between the other girls and her is just kind of there's levels to this. So if
she's too
Manon can
strong
be
too.
comfortable waiting it out and not risk anything, I think she's definitely going to be champ by the end of the year.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
just dear Lord, please do not run another Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso fight for the third time. If it goes to the fourth, I'm giving up on this division. Divisions I won't give up on, though, is Zhang Weili's division, which she is reigning over currently in the women's strawweight. This one's the hardest pick. You and I did
Really?
discuss this off pod, and I agree. I think the women's Khabib is going to come for that belt, whether she keeps
That's
it for a
right.
long time or not. But Tatiana Suarez is going to be champ.
She will. Yep, I agree. Only way she loses it if she gets hurt and has to like be stripped once she
Yeah,
gets it.
literally the number one contender, and she's hurt right now. I just hope that she can stay healthy enough to get to the cage, and if she is, all right, Zhang Weili is in a world. I was not impressed by Zhang's last performance. I definitely thought that, like, yeah, like she did what she needed to do to get the dub, but like there was a level of like exposure that happened, in my opinion, with the striking difference. I'm not saying that Tatiana is like better than Yan Xiaonan in the striking, but
She don't need to
I
be.
didn't, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. So I'm really interested to see that fight. I hope they are able to book it, and I hope Tatiana doesn't have to fight anybody else because I do think she's put the work on all the girls that are near her. What do you think? Do you think that the next fight for Tatiana will be just for the belt? Or are they just going to do it?
Yeah, she'll be next for sure. I don't think there's anyone else they can throw in there with Wei Li unless they're just trying to like build up her defenses.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Tatiana's next, man. And Wei Li just fought what last month or earlier this month? Earlier this month. Sorry, yeah, I thought it was May already. And she she doesn't. Yeah, I think that she'll wait and fight Tatiana later this year,
Mm-hmm.
and she will lose that belt. She's gonna lose that belt, man. And she won't get it back. And then I hope that forces her to go to flyweight.
Yeah, me
I
too.
like Whaley to move to flyweight. Move to flyweight, lady. You're strong. Too big for
Yep,
those girls
she's
you're fighting
big.
with. Go up. Go up.
Yep, co-oping, make a
Um,
name for yourself up there.
100%.
But that's it. Those are the lists. So viewers, if you stuck around, let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested to see. I want to come back to this list at the end of this year and see who got it right, who got it wrong, and what happened between now and then. Because we can try to predict, we can try to MMA math it all together, and it's always going to be just a little bit different. Oh, he's got it written down, folks. He's got it written down, folks. So it's official.
It's
But
official.
we're also in a podcast, so if it doesn't get uploaded, then that's the only way it's not official at this point. So, anyways, if you've made it this far, folks, please, we just appreciate you, one, for tuning in and listening, but then two, like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, appreciate you. We'll talk to you guys next week. See ya.
Peace.